A wildlife charity is calling for £420 million to cover the cost of the environmental damage it believes will be caused by the high-speed rail line HS2. A report from the Wildlife Trusts says building the line will destroy more wildlife and habitat than will be replaced. It comes as the second reading of the HS2 bill takes place in the House of Commons today, where MPs will be able to debate the principles of the bill for the first time. Paul Wilkinson, who's the head of Living Landscapes for the Wildlife Trusts, told me why he thinks millions should be spent on conservation alongside the line.
The starting point for us is that we're faced with a really stark choice with this HS2 project. We either effectively write off a huge number of our natural assets, our wonderful woodlands and wetlands, and hundreds of those sites which we value and which people enjoy are going to be lost as a result of this project. So we can either write them off, or we can think more ambitiously and more creatively about how we try to heal some of those wounds, how we try to put something back.
You say that HS2 would be very damaging, and yet the project itself says it would be environmentally neutral.
The project does say that they would be environmentally neutral, but at the moment they haven't provided the facts and figures to support that statement, and we're struggling to find the evidence. From the work that we've done in analysing the environmental statement, which HS2 Limited issued not that long ago and we provided a response to, we were finding that there were example after example of where either the impact overall had been poorly assessed, or where the mitigation that was going to be put in place in order to address that impact was insufficient.
Realistically, do you expect to get anywhere with this, or are you just trying to draw attention to the problem that you perceive?
We absolutely feel that there's a need to step up the government's game on this, and we're having support from within the conservation sector, as you'd expect, but also we think that there's actually support from the Environmental Audit Committee report, which does say that the government needs to be more ambitious. So we're putting this into the debate as a positive contribution to say, if you want to be more ambitious, and we think you absolutely should, then here are some ideas, here are some things that you might do.
The Wildlife Trusts have been against the HS2 project. If this was agreed to, would you suddenly be supporters?
No, we will continue to press, and we will be petitioning the bill. What we're doing with this document is putting some ideas into the arena to drive up the government's ambition on how they mitigate against the loss. We're still going to see 500 important wildlife sites either completely destroyed or affected by this development, including some of our own nature reserves. And so we will continue to push against these proposals.
So even if the government said it would spend £420 million on wildlife projects around HS2, you still wouldn't support that project?
We would welcome the increase in their ambition, absolutely, and we would work with them at a local level, with local communities, with farmers and landowners and others to implement those proposals if they went ahead.
Paul Wilkinson. Well, no one was available from HS2 for an interview. In a statement, they told us, "We're grateful for the input of the Wildlife Trusts and the report will be given full consideration."